Gotcha. No short movie tonight. Because of time scheduling and all the things that get in the way of having a stream. As you can see, our friend Jerry isn't with us tonight, at least not yet, because he's probably still on his way home. He may or may not join us later. We will see. But before we start with the project system, last week I said if the prize I won over at ontabletop.com would arrive before today, I would show off my 40k pile of shame. Yes, I don't know if this will fit everywhere, but we will see. Hang on there a minute. I need to start the external camera and hope that this thing now does what it should be doing. Need to get the keyboard out of the way because reasons. And I'll see, is this camera working? It is. Lucky me. So, what I've won is this small bugger. That's one. And we will do this in a chronological way. So I'm picking up the oldest pieces first. Mind you, most of these boxes are empty or do not contain the stuff that's in it. But all these boxes are things I've actually got. So we're starting with this. A war bike. Actually, two of those. Put them by side. Oh, let me rephrase that. This is my 40k pile of shame. Orcs only. My snakebite boboys. My storm boys. Another war bike. Salamander. Some knobs. Knobs are always good. And let's see. I think more storm boys. This is actually filled with all the surplus bits of orcs I still have left. So this has come slight heft. More orc boys. Hello Ben. I'm currently building a mountain. Another buggy. Oh, this is going to not fit in the camera at all. This was the Space Orc Battle Force. That goes on here somewhere. Oh, wait. That's better. And then I'm not seeing the chat anymore. I don't know what edition. I had to look up. Final contestant. This one. These are all almost not anything done to them except building and taking out of the box. Now to get this all back from my desk so I can see the lovely chat and all the banter and assaults. Yeah, but mankind hasn't been very creative, has it? Yes, of course, German version. Why would I not have the German version? Oh, let's get this heavy box done. Now, as some some of you already know today's my birthday. I'm turning 45. If I were a cassette, I would have to turn around now. Yes, I lied. I treated myself a bit when the friendly local game shop that is closing down. I got me some speeder bikes, and because you can never have enough speeder bikes, there's another set of speeder bikes. And a little bit of surplus. Paint, card sleeves, foil sleeves. Things you need when playing weird little games. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Getting older is no accomplishment. That just happens to everyone. And... oh, don't ask. Düsenschlitten. Terrible translation. Doesn't really need it. My lovely wife gifted me some hobby things. We have Surface Primer grey and white, Airbrush Flow Improver, airbrush paints, and don't tell me this looks like an X-Wing. I think at least some resemblance. And even more airbrush paints. So I am now prepped, set up for decent paintbrushing. Only trouble is, the timing is worse. Tomorrow is my last day of holiday, so I've got to back to work. Well, could be worse, could it? So this is what I'm currently having to think on what I will do with it. To be honest, I am tempted to build the Indomitus Space Marines like the purple sparkly Marines I have done before. And if any of you have ever seen a Volkswagen Polo Harlequin, yeah, that gives you an idea what I'm planning on doing to the Necrons. Good luck finding out what that is. So, but that's all things I have promised last time. Now, as is tradition, opening the bottles. Cheers, everybody. And to compensate for the lack of knowledge I have, and therefore the probably short version of the stream, I simply got myself a buttload of tabs open, and we will see if we can break the system now. Let's get on with it, shall we? First off, we have Hobby Exploits by Shingen. Oh, he hasn't done very much since the last time he got a golden button for it. Let's see, he has done a 3-hour job. I'd say that takes me more than 3 hours. Nice Cyberpunk Samurai. You lovely lot. Oh, what you won't be probably seeing, half of the tabs I've got open have some weird markings on them, so I'm guessing we're going to have to refresh some of them. Next up, The Longest Day by Max Key. Let's see, what is this? Historical bolt action. Plain green minis. Not much yet done. Well, I say, oh, mash buttons, get on with it. I think we can just skip this. Because there's literally nothing much to see but bodies on the floor. Lot of bodies. Next up, Warriors of Greece by Marine 101. Oh, he seems to be into his shields. Yeah, Goromaging, that's the polo I'm about. That could be fun for the Necron Harlequins. I'm sure some GW fanboys will be rotating in their graves. So Marine 101 does historical for his Mycenaean hoplite army. Let's see, he done some grey primer microfiller. Microfiller on metal shielding actually should be better than the ordinary primer, because metal surfaces on metal minis always seem to me a bit rough. Gloss black, Alclad pale gold. That's a lacquer. I never heard of that brand before. Chat, have you ever heard of that brand before? And here he has the first minis into. Also metal. Well, that looks like a promising start. Not much to see there yet, but I'm intrigued about these paints. Does he actually say what those are? Stashed away from model car days. So that's something I never heard of before. I may have to look into that. Next up, this short scribbling was intriguing to me, and it seems to be a lady with some mechanic legs. Magic attack development. So this is exactly so he's doing some sort of conversion. He's actually using wood on building some mech legs for this lady doll. That's interesting. Looking weird nonetheless, but definitely something new. That's weird somehow. Oh, and a lot of research in doing backpacks and Gundams. And he seems to have some sorts of rules set for that. That's a very interesting way of getting on with something. Well, to be honest, I like my mecha anime, but the cutesy stuff is not my cup of tea. Nonetheless, he's putting a lot of work into it, so I'm giving it buttons. It's the least I can do now, is it? Very nice. Next up, oh, dreaded host error. Let's see, do we get anything from it, or did I crash the system? A war game, you say? Well, I guessed as much, but the way he uses that miniature or puppet or toy is a bit strange. Saga? I see Saxons. You say Saga? Friendly local game store Saxon things. Historical. No Saga. But by B6712. Little Big Man transfers. Those are the transfers Jerry has been talking about more often. They look great, but why the hell do they use Comic Sans as a font? Nobody should be using Comic Sans. Whoever invented that font should be burning in hell. Oh, I seen we've been here last week with his shielding he's done with a metal color. That's... I remember. Not getting that old now, am I? Nicely done, nicely done. Next up, another dreaded host error. Oh my god, no, please. Yeah, that's basically it. Gorambe Gamer. Strange fonts usually used by smaller companies. And I don't know what's with Comic Sans especially, but there are so many small companies using that font. It's not like you just Google free fonts and get a shit ton of fonts delivered right to your door. This project doesn't want to load. I think I've broken Beast of War. Apologies. Hellboy by Ugleb. I think we have been here before. Let's see. Let's see. Shouldn't be too long ago. That somehow resembles something. I think. Was it that long ago? No, it wasn't, was it? But just look at all those pictures. I'd be scared if OTT gets something like a copyright strike. Oh, these are even older entries. How old is this project? Very old. So in May he started up again, and he's starting with a very nice looking troop. Maybe a bit too glossy for my taste, but to each his own. Game pieces for clean paint scheme. I give him that. And for gaming board pieces, very well done. Glorious gorilla ass crack Lloyd shot. And in focus. And what does he got next? A yellow turtle demon thingy? You can actually feel that I'm missing Jerry because he knows so much about these things that I don't. Yeah, I get the part that this font is great for people with dyslexia, but that doesn't mean you should use it everywhere. A Jerry Lloyd shot? A glory shot? So, I forgot. Hitting buttons. This dragon looks really nice. I know we had another project from a different dude on U2T with similar models, and those were a bit of a different scheme, but these look totally nice. And I bet if those were on a demo table, you'd be hard pressed to not go, ooh, that looks lovely. Purple witches, bats, wolves and werewolves. Though to be honest, this way set up, the wolves look like they are doing a little dance number. Oh, 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 staying alive, staying alive. Well, getting on with it. Some Nazis, some more Nazis, and even more of them. Well, those are clones, aren't they? Very nicely done. Even more of them. Great for punching. Details on how to paint the actual flesh. Those look nice and lovely. Are those part of the Hellboy board game as well? Darkness Calls expansion, so I think they are. At first I thought those were Drago from Skyrim. Especially that one in the middle with the shield. but I guess those are a different scale, maybe a bit small. See, this is what I mean. Put this on a gaming board piece and people will really look at the board game in a different way. Nothing overcomplicated, but it definitely draws the eye. Oh no, she's tripping over. Poor woman, help her up. I love that he's gotten out of his way to copy all the comic references so that we can see what they are should be looking like according to the comics. I wish I had thought of Jerry not being here a little bit sooner, because then I would have put up the laptop so I can see your comments while I'm on the browser. Still waiting for the refresh. Warren, if you're watching, I'm sorry I'm breaking your system. I don't do it on purpose. People demand this. I'm obliged to do this. I hope not. If that would be Jerry showering, that would be a very weird thing for us to hear. 144 artists, Wall Song. A dwarven girl with a punchy fist. Does this count as a leg on rock pose? Because she's basically standing on something elevated. No leg on rock. Gets a pass. And he even did eyes and lipstick. I hate you. This looks fine. The pose is a bit weird because it looks like she's doing a fist bump with someone. But then again, maybe she is fist bumping some big tanky dude that has helped her. On to the next one. Oh, Blood Bowl. I hope you all have seen the Blood Bowl reveal trailer that GW has put out after the new rulebook has leaked. I'm not sure on my view on this because I'm scared that GW is breaking the rules. But other than that, if they were to bring out one rule book that contains all rules and there's no need for any more buying of white dwarfs or annuals or any other shit, then I would be happy with it. Hello 87 Collins. So let's see how Jemmy Jim has done his Dark Elves. Well, I would say he has done them well. The wooden bases look very woodeny, even though that might look a bit weird because most gaming tables I've seen are grass or rubble. I don't think I've ever seen a wooden playing field, but maybe he has an interesting box plan for them. I like the color gradient he has gone on the shoulder pads and the glowy looks of the green parts. Let's see if he has written up some special things. Oh, look nice. Oh, I remember the screen thing that popped up in my feed a few days ago, and I was wondering where he was going to go with it. Seemingly, he went from green wooden base, very green, to very brown. Well, to be honest, a green wooden base would look a bit weird, would it? And the color shifting on the coin and the turn marker, also very nice. You have done well. You may live another day. And the system isn't counting my clicks again. Bloody fracking hell. Next up. Oh, again! Cloudflare is beasting up. The ship pitch. This is what I meant when I thought he had some showcase where it would fit rather, but still on a gaming table later it would look a bit weird. I think they ran out of hamsters, Dutch, so there are no fresh hamsters to be had. They are now turning to rats and little children. Burrows and Badgered. Again, 144 artist. That man has been updating his projects left, right and center. Like there's no tomorrow. Does he know anything that we don't? Nice. Archer squirrel. That's... Of course, we now have a squirrel where Jerry isn't here.
Oi, Nutter!
Oh, and that one-legged hare looking a bit grumpy. I think this was the one he got a golden button for, if I remember correctly. And rightfully so, because a lot of burrows and badgers and a very consistent painting scheme and very nicely finished miniatures. Oh, I spot a mistake. There. He did a wrongsy. There. Oh, bad. You can do better, can you, 144 artists? Next time. Next up, again, Cloudflare, saying that the host isn't working with us. Yeah, we can Mad Dog School, we can reanimate Dead Hamster, but we don't want to. If you don't believe me, watch Graveyard of the Little Ones. What's it called? I only know the German title of the Stephen King book. Pet Cemetery. That was it. Next up, Star Wars by 42. Let me just say, if I haven't said that before, I love the username 42 because I can actually read it and pronounce it. So he has made up his own characters for Size Noodles and Yoda to be used in Imperial Assault. And I'm always astounded by how good people, or how easily seemingly people are able to incorporate new gaming ideas into existing games. The sheer amount of creativity those people show, not to speak of the talented paint art he's doing here, that little bugger always knocks me off my socks. Oh, just look at him. Isn't he cute? I hope my R2 will look that nice if he's finished. Oh, and that smirky smile. Remember, that's an Imperial Assault miniature. Very nicely done. I think we have to push buttons before we go on this. So, as I said, he is doing some add-on for Imperial Assault, and maybe that's not the worst idea to get started building up fan projects now, before FFG is killing it off. Because I have the bad feeling FFG won't be doing very much more in the long run. If I recall correctly, they only announced 2 things on the Gen Con streams, and those were digital downloads only, and they were not free, so smells a bit of desperations. No, the Imperial Assault minis aren't bad, but they are hard to paint and some lack details, Collins. And sometimes they look a bit wonky because of scaling issues. Guess again. Error 425. 524. Jesus, I can't even count anymore. Let's see what's behind this door. Rangers of Shadowdeep by Hairy Brains. I'm pretty sure we have been on this one before. Let me just check and scroll down. I'm pretty sure, or maybe not. Yes, we have. Spiders. That's where we left off. So he has done a big worm. A purpley worm. Purpley worm. And he's using contrast paints, obviously, and he has some nice tauntauns in the background. So, Mr. Worm, could you please move aside and give us some more looksies on the tauntauns, please? I thought so. So, let's see what he has done other. Some giant flies. Somehow these remind me of the bloat flies in Fallout. Oh, and a perfect Jerry shot. So much not in focus, that's lovely. Well, flies are hard to catch, they are awfully fast. And this is literally a fly stand. Yeah, sorry. I wonder if that would have been possible to use something thinner, but since they look, are those resin? Metal? Resin. They should have gone on to something like a brass pole or something that, in my opinion, would look better. But then again, that's just me. Oh, look here. This guy used his mace so often, the hilt went bust. Or maybe that's just to be remedied later. A firebender of sorts. Flaming swords and wizardry. But why is he carrying that much wood around? Does he need fuel for the fire? So actually rangers for his Rangers of Shadowdeep. Yeah, makes sense to have some rangers if you want to play rangers. And again in the background, nice tauntauns. I get the feeling they are just there to attract my attention and to divert them from something else. Bloody website, will you take my likes? Oh, just fucking work. We need definitely more hamsters in this. Oh, look-see. A floating bedsheet. Yeah, bloatflies are hard to hit. That's why you usually use the flamer or something. And I bet if they would put bloatflies with the same mechanic into Fallout 76, that game would be totally busted. Oh, this is something for all you friends of little furry animals. I must say that I don't like the mold lines going on the middle of the head, but I can see that would be a pain in the ass to remove them. But I love this little rat horde. They look so happy and so eager to see you. Don't you just want to cuddle them? But maybe only after you've got yourself a tetanus shot. Howling wolves. Fighting skellypops. And a zombie. I love this pose of the knight on the right with his twisted foot. He's had such a long day, and he just wants to go to sleep. Oh, more of those. Oh, I know, those aren't zombies. This is a dance-off competition of sorts. And in the background there's some weird techno music going on. Or is it? Maybe? Who knows? What do we have here? These pictures are great. I can embiggen them and then we can see what they're. So this black dude looks a bit like Judge Death. There's the IT version of the Hulk. Oh, the arch enemy of every Australian. Oh, and that's my aunt. No, it's not. It's your aunt. Take my button clickings, damn it! Why doesn't the thing want to be buttoned? Let's see again. Hit the... Bloody hell. And now he's doing 3D printed terrain. So I know everybody and their mother is all in on 3D printing for miniatures. I get it. And yes, there are things that look good. But this doesn't. Sorry. I know probably it's a quick print and a filament printer and it could look better, but the fact is, this print, well, it looks like a distorted image from a 1980s CRT monitor. That doesn't look good. And especially these rocks should be a very smooth finish. I think this kind of terrain isn't there yet for general purpose printing. Flat areas, yes. Even shaped ones, yes. But this isn't the prime purpose. I think this is still way much easier and better to do when using traditional methods. And I'm not saying that because Jerry is of the same opinion, but because I really think so. That being said, I would love to have a decent printer to print some things out. But for me personally, the majority of the hobby is a manual labor. Because, yeah, 3D printing doesn't get much more than like buying a set. Buying a ready-built model kit and just adding little pieces and bobs. And building those things from scratch or nearly scratch is for me personally much more rewarding and somehow looks better. I will admit that Harry Brains has done a good job on painting this. If you look from a distance, you probably won't notice at first it is 3D printed, but the second you move in only a little bit closer, you see stepping everywhere. And that just breaks immersion for me completely. This is, yeah, it's nice from afar, but getting close, even in gaming distance, it's something that now I wouldn't bother doing, to be honest. Again, not to lessen his work he's done. He's done great work on painting it, but not my kind of cup of tea. Yeah, Shingen, I know you can design your own things and stuff, but I think we're at a point where it's becoming more a matter of personal opinion, because there are people in this world who think a Pringles can with some bits glued on and sloshed over with one color is a decent terrain. And I think decent terrain is something different. And it's nothing absolute. and everything who wants to be into 3D printing, go for it, more power to you. It's not just there yet for me, it's still too much hassle. When the 3D printers are at that stage that you don't need to manually tweak and change everything after the fact. If you can basically get an STL file being the equivalent of a PDF and just hit print and it comes out the way it was intended, then I'm fine with it. But currently 3D printing takes a lot of work and is basically a hobby in its own. So if you have these two hobbies and combine them, great. More power to you. But not for me, not yet. I think there will be a time in the not so far future where 3D printers will be a part of the hobby. And I think even companies like GW will at some point need to adapt to that strategy in some shape or form. And I can't remember if that was a Weekender or XLBS, but I think if companies like GW find a way to put not a rights management, but a maybe design management security button thingamajig on it, so that you can't simply sell off everything, it would be fine. I'm afraid they would rather do something like DRM and make you buy multiple STL files if you want to print multiples. But then again, no DRM has ever survived in the age of internet. Yes, man, that's the thing. I think GW won't adopt that for a long time. I think maybe even ForgeWorld will do that before GW as some sort of experimental balloon to see where things go. Well, that was some kind of product activity. Fast, quick, let's go on next. We have Delving into English Civil War by Warhammer Grimace. Again, still haven't read up on English Civil War, so Englishmen fighting with Englishmen with pointy sticks. And he has gotten himself, excuse me, 32 miniatures on a sprue that I haven't seen before. It looks weird, but if it works, it works. They don't seem to be that detailed, but 172 should be around 15 mil or more closely to 10 mil. I couldn't tell. Chat, do you know? 20 mil. Yeah, makes sense. 154 is 52 is about 28 mil for Legion most of the time. Well, as long as he has fun with it, go with it. And those minis seem to be okay. Does he tell how much they were? 23 miniatures, 16 poses. Nope. So can't tell if that was a good deal or not. Next up, same shit, different day. Hit it. Scotty, we need more power. And the next project of the evening is photo reference resource for modeling and painting. Warhammer Grimace, did you take a book out of Jerry and me last week? Perhaps, probably. Or is this sheer coincidence? So we have a lot of photos to be used as a reference for any kind of project you may want to do. Old photos, rusty things, even more rusty things. I think I get the point. Oh, that was a dormant project. So he was on it before Jerry's suggested doing something like that. Maybe, Jerry, if you're rewatching this, maybe we should incorporate this into your idea from last week as well, because basically I think it's a great idea on collecting the surroundings of every member of the site in a library of photos that are not called Pinterest or Google Images, so that we can have variations on different areas. That would be totally nice. And I think these latest pictures he has from the military section, they are not that a good reference, because they look a bit yellowed. But then again, it's just a reference. You don't need to recreate it one-to-one. You can, you don't need it. Next up, 4th Armored Brigade. Again, Warhammer Grimace. Dude, did you do anything else today? Thank you, Panzer Kaputt. And also Doug the Fuck. Thank you very much. How many projects did he do? I'm a bit scared to go to the next 10 or so we still have in our pipeline. Ah, so he has put himself in a project. That's something new, definitely. 1991. That's when I was 15, going to be 16. Just about when I went to my first concert, which was AC/DC, with the King's X as forerunner. So very much this is research again for his projects. Maybe we should talk to Warren to get him to make a category for the project system that is picture research, so that people who need references, ideas, hints, can just go to the project system and say, give me reference photos, and then the project with all the reference photos get up and can be viewed at your discretion. And I know John would be actually going mad right now because I'm scrolling past tanks and not giving a damn about them, because I can tell them apart. I know they got big guns and they go boom, and sometimes they go bang. But most fun is when they go broom broom over small cars. Nice. So, guessing what's behind door number 13. Maybe Warren would put his top pictures in research section, but maybe then again we would do a Justin section for the naughty bits, not to be clipped off with the snips. See, what did I tell you? He again. He seems to be a very active little bugger. But I don't think you'll get a golden button for flooding the system. Not yet, at least. So this is something I have seen before. Flames of War. 15mm World War II miniatures. No pink tanks. What a disappointment. German infantry. Even more German infantry. Colorful grass. No pink tank. Why are there no pink tanks? I see a Panzer und noch ein Panzer und noch ein Panzer. And I see a Panzerschreck. But I don't see Hans or his Flammenwerfer. Every Flames of War German army should have at least one Hans and a little bit of barbecue in the back, just for good measure. More Panzers. Oh, he's revitalizing old project. that sneaky little git. Could you have finished any of them before? I can see many tanks, but now we have marched on. Letters of marque, naval combat nature preface, Oriskany. I think most of you don't need any introduction to Jim. One of the few people I actually remember his real first name. This is an unusual incident. So he's doing a live stream, or did, or will he? Sunday. He doesn't put any date on it, so we're guessing it's a current. No, it was. He did one August. Oh, those are a lot of streams. So he's doing them Sundaily, so they're maybe coming up. August 2nd was 2 days ago, so we're guessing he's going to have another stream next Sunday. 7 PM UK, that's 8 PM German time. Usually that's my time where I just sit in front of my PC and my head hits the discs because I'm tired as fuck. Or maybe I'm painting, if I'm lucky. And I'm really am always astounded and awed by the sheer amount of work Jim is putting into his streams, and the prep and the afterthoughts and all the text he's writing, and knowing how often the project system kicks you in the nuts just by not taking anything you have written, I'm sure as hell hope that Oriskany is typing these somewhere else and just copy and pasting them over to get shit done. Painting, yeah, maybe next year, in another life. Or I should break my leg, so I don't have any choice but to sit at home and paint. But then again, now broken legs are terrible. Well, would you look at this angry commissar? David, we haven't seen anything of him of late. He has been in hiding, I feel. And since I'm absent on the face pages and the Twitters, I lost contact to some people who were active here before. Let's see if we have had hell. If we were here before, I think not. No, this is from 2019, so before my time. And here's the magic painting stick that he has shown off before, and I love this idea. This is almost better than my painting holder. Though to be honest, I wouldn't trust metal minis to be held in by double-sided tape. Though this looks like it's working for him, so more power to him for painting with a big painting stick. He's doing sisters. A lot of them. This is more than one box, is it? I'd say 2. Hell of a lot minis. Let's see if he's ever going to finish them. And then he's going on with Space Wolves, it looks like. That's not very hard to see what those are. The only bearded space marines there are. And if they weren't so cheesy, I'd like them, but God, are they cheesy. The only thing that needs them to be even more cheesy is if someone were to throw a ball and they would run playing fetch. But he has done some nice work on these minis, using bits and bobs all over the place.
And I think the Space Wolves are currently the only Space Marine chapter that are that much distinct with their armor from most other Space Marine chapters, but I might be wrong there. Wouldn't be the first time now, would it? Ah, yes. Points, buttons. Next. Reichbusters by Mini Laughing Boy? Me? That's not the offspring of Laughing Boy now, is it? Is it? Son of Laughing Boy. Well, then we have to take a close look on this, if Junior is doing any good. Well, he certainly has his plate filled. Let's see if he's going to finish those. His first finished of day 1 mini doesn't look too shabby, I'd say. Some little highlighting, maybe a bit darker on the eyes to accentuate them, and then slap some paint on the base and you're good to go. And then you're only left to do with, how many do we here have? 4 times 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 36. Here's done 2, so only 34 to go. Get on with it. Oh, and because I'm a terribly lazy host, I've forgotten to give you the links. But that's not so bad, so that takes a lot of stress from the system. But this one, you know what to do. Hit the buttons. Hit them all. Hit them hard. Off to the next project. Yeah, Dutch, I think there's more in the box, but maybe he's shoving some of them over to his old man to have him paint some. Little Laughing Boy. Yeah, that's a... I don't know if that's just me, but it sometimes feels weird to have your offspring in the same hobby. Somehow taking part in activities you thought were your own. I'm definitely talking too much. The beer is starting to get warm. And while we're waiting on that dreadful project system, a little soothing sound for our ears. Fugu! We miss you, Jerry. We really do. Actually, I do. A lot. Yeah, but cats usually are very quick learning on how to kick your shit off the table. Seems like this project doesn't want to be loaded. Load bloody thing. Dum, 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 dum.
What's in the fucking box? Give me the gun.
I think this one is a goner.
Shut up, you cunt!
What to do? What to do? We give it one more. Next. Oh, please. Does this one want to load? Nope. Next. So, Frostgrave by Dane001. I think we have seen his work before. Let's check. No, we didn't. Not in this project. And would you look at this gaming table? How hideous is this? A colorful, almost clean-looking table full of painted MDF terrain, bits and bobs and painted miniatures. Not one piece of grey plastic to see. Disgusting. Well, actually not. And would you look at these little shots? He has really done some nice work on these little painting. Oh, is that freehand? I don't think so. Though, to be honest, I thought Frostgrave was about something of a frozen city. I don't see very much ice on this table, but still it looks very awesome. Now he's painting an officer and some troops. And he's done a painting tutorial again. And this is his finished project. That's not too bad. Maybe that mold line there should have been taken care of, but I'm nitpicking because I'm a nitpicker. Overall, nice work. Looks nice, little commander. Let's see what he's going to do with his troops once he has finished them. Oh, the other projects have loaded. Let's see, what did we miss? Oh, yes. Spare 6712 has done miniature work. And again, I do like the look of 15mm, but I couldn't be asked painting them. Just look at the quantity. I don't know, have you ever, anyone in chat, have you ever had the misfortune of dropping your 50mm pikemen and stepping on them? Is it worse than stepping on Lego? Or is it not so bad because the metal bends? You're probably right, Dutch. I couldn't think of any more horrible than stepping on a Lego. But maybe stepping on more than one, with the pointy pits going up. But I love the way he's going miniature even with his painting sticks. Seeing those painting racks in the background, do any of you have any suggestions for something to carry around 24 airbrush paints so I don't have to leave them out in the garage when I'm not painting? I wouldn't want to make something on my own because I think that would be a bit of a overkill, but I haven't found anything that has a small footprint on the table and yet can accommodate a lot of paints. Maybe you have any idea. Put them in the chat and I will try to look up at the links later. Captain Skyhawk, yes, I've been following this one again. He's doing terrain. This time not so much from scraps like we had seen before, but he's using parts making a shantytown. But first let's take a look at the finished tower fan air thingy he did. Looks very much in the same veins of the things he'd done before. Maybe he could do us a favor and make a group shot of all the painted terrain he has done. That we could get some kind of feel of scale to each to the other. And now he's painting Shantytown. And he's using plastic art and cardboard stock and bits and pieces. He doesn't want to use wood as far as I've read it, because that is for a desert planet where wood has become a long lost commodity. I like the way he's using this, I'm guessing it's a turret, to use with cardboard to make a weird box, or maybe a bunker entrance. I always loved working with this plastic art, but that stuff isn't cheap, is it? Yeah, Lord, 3D printed boxes, actually that would be a case of would be nice to use, but I'm not shelling out $200 for a printer to get something that I can buy for 25. Yeah, I thought of nail polish racks, and I have to take a look again at the video that the painting doctor had to see if I can find that that set that he has, because that looked very nice and wasn't as expensive as the one I have found. Let's see, how far has he come? Oh, and now he's going completely do-it-yourself rogue and doing weird vehicles. This turns out interesting. Or is that a mobile home? Could be. I'm still very much waiting on how these look painted. But again, nice job, very nice job. And I wonder how many blades he has used for the cardboard. Next was the Frostgrave that we had, and then we are going to have this one. Oops, I've just seen we have a lot of more tabs open. Let's see if we can get this thing loaded. Shingen, I always seem to fail to find some supplier that is A, having stock, and B, is shipping to my place for a decent price. So I'm usually going somewhere where the students from our technical university go to buy their stock to make little project builds, and that's way expensive. Yeah, looks like the project system or the home page itself isn't very much responsive today. I'm sorry about that. Nothing I can do about it. We just have to sit and wait. So here we have Tathirak doing RAF Thunderbolts. So using the paint scheme from the ARF and going Imperial thingamajig. Not really a new idea. I think this kind of thing has been done more than once. But I think the finish looks good. Now to paint the bases. Though I'm a bit irritated that these projects are from March, I think we have hit the threshold on where we are just getting very old projects. If this is the case, I'm going to stop here, because I don't see the point in going back more than 1 or 2 months. So this hasn't gone anywhere. This is weird. Why was that shown to be a recent project then? Never mind then. off to the next project we go. Halbzeit. Reinforcements have arrived. Oh, bloody hell. I'm sorry for everybody's project that I've picked that isn't loading, but at the current rate that these things are loading past, I'm just going to close all the 4 to 5 projects so that we have a chance to get anything done. I'm pretty sure you all understand. So the next up is Manda's Scurvy Sea Dogs. And here she has done some lovely haircut on a base. You know what this Vallejo stuff reminds you of? Cookie dough. Delicious, delicious cookie dough. Looks lovely. Oh, these miniatures I've seen somewhere before, not so long ago. Maybe, I think it was part of the last Hero Forge newsletter, that special one. So, this is a fresh project for her warbands of Pirates of the Dreaded Sea. Dread Sea, not Dreaded. Or maybe it's also Dreaded. So I'm curious on what she will be doing. If her painting skills are improving even more than when they did from her first attempts on Space Wolves, if any of you can remember what she has done. I'm pretty sure that I saw a similar miniature in the last email from Hero Forge, but that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility since they provide the basic materials. Next up we have, oh, this is a favorite of mine, the Noise Marine by Zinj. I really love how this stage is coming together, and Zinj, please, for the love of all things hard rock heavy metal, please make yourself somehow a small writing on the amp going Murder 1. We need a Murder 1 amp for this. For everyone who doesn't know why Murder 1, Murder 1 is the name of the amp that Lemmy Kilmister gave his amp. Look at any recent Motorhead music live video and you will see Murder 1. And Murder 1 deserves something like that. That being said, cheers Lemmy, thanks for all the music. And I really miss that guy. If any of you have ever seen Motorhead live in concert, what was your favorite part? Mine was always when they come through the front part of the stage only with a bucket and an acoustic guitar and a mouth harp and did the Whorehouse Blues. It was just amazing every time they did it. I love those guys. So, next up, Mansions of Madness Arkham Horror by FFG from Tuffy. By the way, Tuffy, are you here, Tuffy? Are you awake? Or are you still over there at Ben's channel? Or are you somewhere else? Basing for investigators. I just hope she doesn't model those miniatures after our RPG characters. That would be some kind of weird. but I think those are a different time scale. And she has done a lot of them in a lovely way. Athlete, very good at running away. Though the wet bases, I think they still need to dry a bit. They look a bit splotchy. Why are all the minis standing in the middle of the, what's it called? Hell. The very wet land where you can sink into when, because it looks like solid land. Damn it. Help me out, chat. What's that called? Swamps. Thank you. That was that. Swamps and marshes. Ooh, spooky, scary skeletons. No, not skeletons. Just ghosts. I hope she has got a hold on how to glue the minis together. She was having a bit of trouble with that, judging by the Discord. And I think she has done nicely. And I hope my wife doesn't see this, because she has bought herself Mansions of Madness 2 or some kind of... No, I don't think it's Mansions of Madness, but another Arkham horror game, and I already have 2 or 3 board games in the pipeline for her to paint the minis. I don't know when, but I promised, so I will do. Next, Song of Ice and Fire. Or as I like to call it, Sex, Blood and Politics. Could be mud or quicksand. Whisper, first steps, February again. Why was this shown as a recent project? Because it's one of those that's going totally bonkers in the way of sorting. So we will start maybe somewhere around... Yeah, sure, why not? With the big giant. So... here's the rock. No, the mountain. The rock was somebody else. And showing again how painfully it is to paint yellow over anything that is not yellow. Painting layers. Layers and layers on yellow. But it paid off. I think that mini looks great. Maybe the lower part of whatever it's called could be a bit more dirty, just like he did with the horse, but all in all, looks nice. Oh, why don't you remind me of pushing the buttons, chat? I almost forgot. You need to remind an old man like me, especially after having a beer or 2. Or maybe 3? Who knows? I don't. I couldn't remember. Mountains Man. Now this is what I call a regiment base done right. This has a very nice clean look to it. I really like it. Maybe put the knights in a different order a bit to have some variation. But all in all, this is very much to my liking. Now he doesn't look too healthy now, does he? With an arm lost. Or a hand rather than that. But great paint jobs. Oh, look at him. The angry little one. Doesn't look like the one in the TV series now, does he? I must say, these paint jobs are very nice. I love the... what should I call it? stippled on looking like effect on the metal. I think it suits the style of the minis very much. Yes, very nicely done. Next up, you is Airborne. Yeah, man, I know they're based on the books and not the TV series. I was just trying to be funny. Sorry, it did work. But actually, I think the some of the series characters have more characters. Like, is that the real term I'm looking for? Maybe not. But I think they fit the role a bit better. But then again, I haven't read the books, so I couldn't tell you if I'm wrong or not. You tell me. Frederic 555 is doing historical bolt action. And he's basically doing wavy airbornes. Would you look at this disgusting workplace? Yeah, the cutting mods are dirty, but there are lots of empty places for paints. And I would go out on a limb and say those drawers aren't fully crammed with stuff either. Huh. I hate these people. And he's organizing his bits. So maybe he's German? I don't know. Could be. Could be French. But I like the effect he's done for the basing. They very look like a fresh beach of sorts. Well, we need to see the end result, but he isn't there yet. So let's hope he's doing this. Or she. Sorry if I got that pronoun wrong. We will just follow this project and then move on. Kevin's Deep, Alloyed, you lot. You still awake? Probably not. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't hold it against you if you've gone away. Doug, I have seen the first few episodes. Wasn't that much. It gets boring after time. Kevin's Deep update on the font. So he has done those look more readable. Yeah, this was just too thin, too hard to work on. Keep it up. Don't go too small on the fonts, otherwise I won't be able to read it anymore. Maybe update your project picture, just for shits and giggles. Yeah, we have seen this one before, especially this person. He has done again a lot of small decorative things. 144 artists. I know we have seen his nice books a few weeks ago. I couldn't tell you why that bloody system hasn't taken my button pressing. Going to continue with this. Potted plants, squirrels, fugu, squirrels, gardening equipment, more pots, salads. So basically anything you need to make your little castle look like it's self-sustaining. Those look nice. But do more. We want more. Next up. We have the very elaborate hobby cleanup. System fail. Oh. he has, so if I remember correctly, he had some kind of system in place to buy one for every done mini or something. And we have seen his fabulous buy last week, we did. And then he's doing Northern Warriors, Necrons from the Indomitus box, and bought a Doom Scythe. Well, it's cheat day, I'd say. Would you agree? Cheat day. Also, having a system in place for keeping yourself from buying too much stuff is all fine and good. But at some point you actually get into a place where you see two things you really, really want, and you know you're going to bite yourself in the ass if you don't go out and buy it too. Then I'd say, well, go for them now and leave the next month completely off. So just spread it a bit differently. Don't make yourself too many worries. Next up again is Denzian. He's putting out the trash, and this one I've seen today and I really love it. The work he has done on his Fallout table, I can't wait to see it in completion when everything is set up and done and ready to rock. This diner may need a little bit more weathering, to be honest. Looks a bit too clean for the wastelands. But all in all, he's done a hell of a job of recreating the actual buildings from Fallout 4, which are very hard to do. If any of you have seen those bent pieces of metal that were sticking out of the houses left, right and center. This really looks nice. And if I would have to happen the skills in PowerPoint that some other people have, I would now take this picture, put it into Photoshop or GIMP and just lower the exposure to see the actual color scheme on this, because I have the feeling this is a bit too bright. But all in all, this is what a Fallout table should look like. And I'm betting playing on that thing is a hell of a lot of fun. And here again we have this is a prime example of 3D printing that is going right. I'm imagining he has 3D printed this, yes, because these forms are very pleasant for the printer to, very easy to print without having too many steppings and weird edges in them. So this is actually looking better than I'd expect from a 3D print. And judging by the grayscale of the plastic, he is using a filament printer, which makes it even more impressive. Because filament printers can be a pain in the ass. Lovely pieces. Well done, Denzian. And now we are coming to a close for this night. This is the last one. And, well, would you look at that? We have looked at this in completion nearly last time. So this was, what you call him, Umbra, rediscovering his Imperial army. And he's continued with the work he has done before. Still very clean paint jobs on these, which I wouldn't mind if they were fresh from the ship, but seeing on two bases this amount of gore, I'd say these dudes need a little bit of dirtying up. They are a bit too clean. I don't think there's any commissar in the universe that is that picky about uniforms when there's a fight to be fought. But maybe I'm wrong. Do you know any commissar that's pedantic? and it's Command Squad. That one with the red bandana somehow reminds me of some dude in the woods shooting at invisible aliens. I couldn't tell you why. Oh, and that poor comms officer looks a bit pale in the face. Maybe he needs a transfusion, or he has given one too many. All in all, nicely. And after 10 years finished, I think he says finished, because finessed isn't really a word, is it? And the project is an end, so we would like a glory shot of the completed army. Please? Where is the completed? No, oh, he didn't. So we will just have to go into the comment system. If the system is playing nicely. Bloody hell. So I just saw that Manda had gotten something. Yes, and I love this. It's my mechanical keyboard. I love to annoy coworkers with it. And there is the Order of Heimdall. Jeebus. That's a lot of green fighting men. If I would know better, simply because of the map they are sitting on, I would say that's a picture from 1996 or something, because that hell is green. But that looks awesome, and Jerry would be proud of the not very much in focus but sometimes in focus picture. Jeebus, that's a lot of work, Amanda. How long did it take you to get to the stage? Well, if that's your gaming table, that's a definitely green gaming table. Oh, and I see a Wii U in the background. So you're one of 3 other peoples I know that have a Wii U. Half a year, that's nice. Well, I can't say no if I'm asked that politely now, can I? The Afghan Project by Collins. So I think we have been here before as well, but I think that's some time ago now. Let me just triple check. Yes, there we were. And here have we the rule system you probably want to use. And still very much nicely painted. I love the effect you've done on the windows and the glass lens of the cameraman. It reminds me very much of the 80s style pseudo chrome and paintings, if you get what I mean. Oh, and this caging around the trucks, was it very hard to do? Did it drive you nuts? Yeah, the airbrushed robots, that's exactly what I meant. Nice little trucky trucks. He's no good to me, Dad. Hi, Dad. Yes, I'm guilty of looking always at the wrong parts of pictures. I was thinking of using electric brush too, but not for cleaning them, but for weathering vehicles or anything. It looks like a nice little force. Yeah, very nicely done. You're getting buttons too. Yeah, I'm guessing getting it all to stick in a coherent way is the most annoying part, to have it be flush on all sides equally if you have things sticking out. Night goblins don't brush their teeth, Lloyd. You should know that. So, with this being, I don't know how many projects I've stumbled through without any help from our gentle giant. I thank everybody who has been marching with me this whole time. I'm very sure Jerry will be here with us next week. At least I hope he will, because that's a lot of more fun, especially for me, to have some banter with him. I wish you all a very good night. I will now end this stream, drink my beer, and then the VOD will go up on YouTube. And let me just say one last time to everybody of you,
Oh, shut up, you cunt!
goodbye. See you again next week.